Pikmin. Yeah, it's one of those interesting few series of games that, for the longest time, received next to no attention in the gaming industry. Just enough attention for Nintendo to continue making sequels. That wasn't until recently, of course, with the release of Pikmin 4 making massive sales for Nintendo. How exactly did Pikmin blow up within August and November? The series went from barely enough sales for a sequel to being featured on the New York Times billboard square funded by the fans. Today I want to take a look at the first game, as I actually 100% completed it, and I thought it would be fun to just take a look through the events that led up to the first game, and what transpired for us to be here now. Or, I guess more particularly not what transpired for us to be here now, but you get my point. Let's dive right in. So before we can talk about the game itself, let's talk about how exactly Pikmin came to be, along with its overall impact on the gaming industry. Well, for starters, there's always been a large myth that series creator Shigeru Miyamoto saw a group of ants working together in his backyard, which would ultimately lead to the idea of Pikmin. While I hate to spoil your breakfast, this is just complete falsehood. The truth actually comes from something as simple as Nintendo asking Miyamoto to make a brand new game. Seeing as his whole career he's dominated the industry with Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda as his two main headers for the company, of course, Miyamoto would agree. And with that, Miyamoto set off to make a real-time strategy game based off the semi-popular tale Adam and Eve. The game would be about two people, Adam and Eve. Resetting society, as the game progressed, the player would be able to build their own community. The player would be God, I know, blasphemous, and they would control the decisions of Adam and Eve. If the player made bad decisions, Adam and Eve, along with others, would grow more distant from each other, leading to extinction. Although if the player made good decisions, the community would thrive. When initially pitched, Nintendo disliked the idea for various unknown reasons, which we can assume was because they didn't want to be controversial, seeing as Adam and Eve is a popular Christian-related idea. So this would ultimately lead to the creation of Pikmin, because Shigeru Miyamoto, having started the physics and real-time strategy elements from the game, already just wanted to keep that going. So once the design of the Pikmin were made, he ran with the ideas. The gameplay of Pikmin 1 is clearly not fully developed. Like I said before, Miyamoto really wanted to continue the idea of playing a real-time strategy. Pikmin is almost unlike any RTS I've ever played. It has an action-adventure element to it that isn't present in any other real-time strategy or action-adventure game. The enticing part of Pikmin 1 was the ongoing time limit, with the point being to discover new areas, which all contain different chip pieces you need to collect and bring back to your base. Of course, implementing the time limit seemed like a no-brainer, as having an infinite time would make the game too easy. With the time limit, however, the game could become crazy and filled with insane amount of antics. Scurrying back to base with your Pikmin while encountering multiple different types of enemies is a feeling I can't really compare to any other game. The sense of urgency trying to make sure you don't only keep all your Pikmin, but also return the necessary ship parts and take down the predators surrounding you, it's a lot to handle. All whilst making your way around an area you're most likely new to and don't understand. Yeah, it's a very tough game. That's not to say it isn't worth it though. Discovering a new area only to master it completely is a very rewarding feeling, and finding new ways to take down enemies with your Pikmin introduces elements of creativity you won't find in many other games of its type. That's not to say the gameplay is without its flaws. Trust me, when I say it's littered with small bugs, I mean it. They have the ability to ruin your game. The most popular bug being that sometimes Pikmin just don't want to follow you. See, if you don't know, you must whistle them, your Pikmin, into your party, or else they'll wander wherever they want to go and probably die. And even if they don't die to some other enemy, this can easily still result in the Pikmin getting lost and dying after the day is finished. It's said that Miyamoto intentionally made this a feature in the game to add more of a challenge, although most agree that it was a dumb addition. Along with that, it's not very hard to get soft-locked. Luckily, I personally didn't experience many of these bugs, and overall the gameplay in Pikmin 1 is for sure flawed, but as a base for future titles, it provides a fun, rewarding, and thrilling gameplay loop that you won't really find in any other genre. The story of Pikmin 1 is simple yet effective. Basically, Olimar lives on a planet called Hakotate. Hakotate? Hakotate? Hakatate? I don't know, and nobody really does. Anyways, Olimar, on an important space expedition, crash lands on a new planet named PNF 404. When he crashes, Olimar loses next to all of his ship parts, 30 to be exact. Without at least 25 of the 30 ship parts, Olimar won't be able to go back home. Now that wouldn't be an issue, but Olimar only has 30 days of oxygen left in his suit. Now sure, this story isn't a crazy thriller with twists and turns, but it gets the point across very well. It gives the player a true motivation to want to beat the game. On top of this, Olimar writes in his personal journal log at the end of each day. This is actually a very cool way of building Olimar's character. As days get further, the patience begins to wear off, so when Olimar talks about his life at home and how he misses his wife and 2 kids, the player has more motivation than ever to beat the game. The scenario becomes more dire than ever. After all, we are Olimar. Crash landed on an unknown planet, unsure if we'll find our way home, while relying on creatures we don't understand for help. I also find it very cool that Olimar retells things that happened during that day. For example, if Pikmin die in mass drowning, Olimar will mention it in his journal log. It's little details like that that can make somebody reflect on what they did prior and put a new idea into practice to prevent the disaster from happening again. As you play the game, at the end of each day, you can see how many Pikmin have passed, just to make you feel more guilty or proud depending on the amount. Now, to conclude this segment, the story is not anything too crazy, but it does a great job of connecting you to Olimar as a character, and it makes you want to return home as soon as possible. And it gives you a genuine reason to appreciate the Pikmin and try harder to keep them alive as much as possible, even if they're really stupid a lot of the time. To finish this review, I just wanted to go over a few different things and finally rank the game itself. So to begin, Pikmin was very fun to play through, and as of making this video, it's been a little while since I've played the game, like a couple of months actually, so the game isn't exactly fresh in my mind. But as I watch more footage, things come back to me more and more. The game is clearly a base for developers to build off for the sequel, and if you're wondering, I do plan on reviewing this sequel as well. And it introduces a very fun and underrated gameplay loop featured in no other real-time strategy games I can think of, even to this day, almost 23 whole years later. The enemies and their designs in this game are also very impressive, yet it's something I barely even touched up on. I think that really shows how impressive this game truly is, especially with it just being a base for games to come in the future. With that being said, I give Pikmin 1 an official review of an 8 out of 10. The game had me glued to the TV for a very long amount of time. The gameplay formula I mentioned so much in this video became almost addicting as I went through all 5 locations, with the final area being adequately named the Final Trial. It was particularly challenging and fun, yet a still fulfilling way to end the game. Overall, Pikmin 1 is a great game, and I couldn't recommend it enough. It's a fairly short game, so you don't have to invest too much time into it, and if you don't want to, you don't have to play it, but I think you should. Hello everybody, this is the outro segment. I wanted to thank everybody for watching this video, and as of writing and recording this, I wanted to let you know that I am sick. Obviously still I press on because it's my passion. Anywho, if you want to leave a like, feel free. I'm not going to tell you, you could probably click off the video now if you don't care. But want to let you know, more is to come in the future, so if you want to subscribe, the bell, do that. I do plan on making all sorts of reviews on all sorts of games, so if you have any ideas, let me know. I'll play through it. It might come in a few months. I do plan on also reviewing the other Pikmin sequels. I would normally do another take on that, but it's the outro, I don't really care. Anywho, as I run out of time here, thanks for watching. I'm heading out.